Insta Live video today interview with Jenni Madison of Coconut Magic. Jenni is an entrepreneur, she's an author, and she's the founder of Coconut Magic. I wanted to get her on here today because she has been a bit of a business mentor, and she's a lovely person who gives me a lot of insight. So I'm going to invite her in now. Just give me a minute. I'm good at this. I did have a very sleepless night. I have a baby who's getting teeth. And yeah, it's crazy how much you can do with a little sleep, as most moms would know. So yeah, so this will be fun. Jenni's great. There she is.
Hey!
Jenni. We're both here in Australia. She's a bit up the sunny coast from us. And we're both getting a big thunderstorm at the moment. So it's pretty exciting. So
There is a little bit of background noise here with the thunder.
Yeah.
And the rain. It's lovely though, really lovely.
Yeah. Well, you look great. I want to talk today about your water fast because I'm in awe that you said 8 days, 8-day water fast, which is great. Jenni is an entrepreneur, not necessarily a water fasting expert, but she's been nice enough to share this with me because I'm interested in it. I've had a few friends do water fasting, and the benefits of fasting in general are just incredible, especially for preventing disease, for actually helping autoimmune disorders. It's so much research on it right now, so it's great to have you join me. So yeah, like I said, Jenni is the founder of Coconut Magic, entrepreneur.
Thank you for the introduction. I think I've heard it already a few times.
Keep going. Would you like to tell us just a little bit about Coconut Magic? For those.
Sure. Coconut Magic is, well, we're a health food company. Actually, in relation to fasting, the very first fast I ever did was when I discovered coconut oil and had a gut issue. Chronic yeast infection, and I actually did 7 days on coconut oil and water. Now, having learnt what I've learnt since then about fasting, I would call that a detox, because real fasting is pure water or dry fasting. So water fasting is when we have just water and nothing else. The coconut oil was ideal because of its antibacterial, antifungal for my issues at the time. But it's very sustaining. It was a very different experience to when I did just water fasting. So my discovery of coconut oil and healing was what led to Coconut Magic. Recently I did do, as you mentioned, an 8-day water fast, and I had always been a little bit nervous, to be honest, about just doing water fasts. I had done juice fasting, and I started the fast with juice, and my husband is really quite well experienced in water fasting, and there are many others that have done 30 days, 40 days. I was a little nervous. So then my brother called me, and he was very sick at the time, and he was researching natural health and healing, and he had read this book, and I've kept a copy to show you all. It's The Transformational Powers of Fasting. And it was when I read this book that I came to learn how deep and how powerful on all levels water fasting is, and that's what inspired me. As soon as I finished reading it, I had scheduled my plan, because I like to plan. I'm a real Virgo, to do this water fast, and the healing benefits that I'd learned about I wanted to experience for myself. And that was how I began, and that was what led me to doing the fast. I believe it's really important to prepare for water fasting. It's very important to prepare. It's also very important to prepare how to start. It's also important to prepare how to finish a water fast. So I started on raw foods for 4 days. I dedicated the whole month of September to a detox month. I called it my detox month, and started with 4 days on raw food to pre-cleanse. So I eliminated coffee, and my diet and lifestyle is very, very clean anyway. Really, the only thing I had to take out there was coffee and any cooked foods. So I stayed on raw for 4 days, and then I went into the juicing for 3 days. And that was how I eased into then just transitioning into water, which went for 8 days. I'd set myself a goal of going for a minimum of 5, maximum of 10. And I just trusted my body, my intuition to lead me and guide me as to how long to fast for. So by day 7, I was ready to finish in a couple of days. I thought to myself, so I fasted for 8 days, 8 nights.
Wow. And you did a juice fasting, really, juice fasting first for 3 days. It's almost like 11 days of fluids only.
That's right. That's right. Juice fasting is very different to water fasting because we're still giving the body nutrition.
Yeah.
And for me, I found it, to be honest, much, much easier. The juice fast, I was still able to go to hot yoga. I was still able to exercise. I still had a lot of energy. It's very different transitioning onto just water. The process, the energy, everything sort of goes way more inward with a water fast. Hence the spiritual transformations.
Yeah, wow.
And the healing is very profound on a water fast as well. For those this is something, there's a lot of good research out. There's a lot of different research out about water fasting, which you'll find. Some professionals, medical health, are all for it, others are not. But for me, time and time again, and now I can actually speak through my experience, the healing of water fasting, the power of water fasting, the depth of connection that comes with it, the cleanliness of my body. Oh, I forgot to mention, so I finished my water fast, and then I decided, because I wanted the whole month of September to be a detox, I went back onto raw food. So one of the questions I think many people ask is, how do you break your fast? I broke my fast going back onto juice and just fresh fruits for a few days and slowly introduced foods, but I stayed on raw food, and I decided I'll stay on only raw, 100% raw, till the end of the month of September. But come the end of September, which is kind of almost 2 weeks ago now, I felt so good. I had such good energy, such clarity in my mind still from the fast, and such a deep connection. My intuition so strong. My husband said to me the other day, "Do you have eyes in the back of your head?" I said, "No, I just have intuition." And it's I really attribute that to fasting and just being clean. So the point I'm trying to make was, when I got to the end of September, I'm still on 100% raw and juicing every morning, because I just can't give up this amazing feeling. I don't want to give up this amazing feeling. And I just feel, by staying on 100% raw, as I've done, and juicing.
Yeah.
And there are a few other, I'll mention a few of the techniques I added to the water fast that really helped cleanse the body and also helped the detox process, because some of the uncomfortable feelings that do come, some say, you may already know, fasting is spiritual. It's also mentioned in a lot of religious literature, and it's often associated with suffering. And there is some physical suffering, especially if the body is toxic. Because what happens in a water fast is we give the body a chance to detox very, very deeply, not just superficial. I mean, the body is detoxing every day, eliminating every day. We fast every night, don't we? We go to sleep, we fast for 8 hours. The body detoxes, the liver's eliminating, the kidneys are eliminating, the digestion's colon is eliminating, the skin is eliminating. It's a very natural and absolutely necessary process. And what we do when we fast, if we give all of those organs the optimal environment to do their job. And if you look at any kind of disease, in particular degenerative disease and any ailments and body ailments, most often they'll be related to toxins in the body. So hence the power of fasting. It allows the elimination process to excel. And the uncomfortable part is the feeling of those toxins. Some of that process can be uncomfortable, and there's all sorts of different things. Now, most people say to me, and often what I read was the first 3 days is the hardest, but for me, I found day was 5 and 6. The first few days I was on a bit of a, whoa, there, I feel really light, I feel really clear, I was okay. Come day 5 and 6, there was quite a bit of discomfort, headache come in, and this bit of that, bit of this. I don't want to go into all the details, but you could use some imagination there. But it's important to know when the discomfort comes in, what your body's doing. This is where intuition, knowledge, research, having some help, if necessary, some support is great. To know that when the body's sort of doing things that are uncomfortable, that I knew when this discomfort was happening, I knew it was good. Yeah, oh, my body's cleaning, I'm healing. Because as I mentioned before, we're detoxing daily. Every night we go to sleep, we're detoxing. We wake up in the morning, sometimes a bit of gunk in our mouth. You know, that's the body naturally detoxing. When we create this optimal environment, we're actually detoxing and cleansing the body on a cellular level. For many people, toxins, me included, you know, I had a child. I may live a very, you know, healthy, organic lifestyle now and for the last, however, 5-10 years. But yeah, my childhood, I did some crazy things and my teens. And these toxins, these chemicals, they harbor themselves in the cells and they just stay there and they live there. And when we fast, water fast in particular, juice fasting is fantastic. I mean, again, it's a beautiful cleansing process. Water fasting really gets down into those, you know, those deep, the years and years of physical abuse. Or it's not even physical, you know, it can be physical abuse. I'm just talking a bit of a misled, you know, teenage childhood, crazy days. But even just our environment, you know, our regular environment, we are, you know, taking in toxins all the time. And another nice analogy to use on how fasting helps the body is it's like cleaning out your house. You know, Kristin, you know, you're a mum, you have a couple of kids, and you've probably got things you do around the house every day where you clean up. Yeah, you clean up. And then there may be a room, or here's an example for me, is I moved house 4 months ago, and there is a room where there are some boxes that are unpacked. It's like, I'll get to that later, because daily I'm getting to the cleaning around the place. And it's the body does that too. The body will store up these toxins, and the liver and the kidneys, oh, we'll just put that over there for now because I'm too busy digesting this food. You know, I'm too busy eliminating doing the work for today. I'll just put that over there. And then an accumulation of toxins begin in certain parts of the body. And when we give the body a rest from food, completely abstaining from food and all nourishment and all nutrition, it then goes in and it starts to clean out those areas that it just doesn't have time to do otherwise. Does that, yeah?
That's really good. You know, I'm just, for those of you joining us, I'm talking to Jenni Madison with Coconut Magic. She's talking to us about her recent water fast of 8 days that she has done as just health maintenance, but as well as detoxing and the importance of detoxing. And for someone, you know, like myself, I'm always looking at the toxins in our food, right? That's why I started June Superfoods to look at the ingredients that are potentially toxic to our kids and to our families. And so, you know, it's important, although we're going to have toxins in our environment all the time, it's unavoidable, that we're going to need to detox, you know. And so that's why I have Jenni on today to kind of walk us through how a water fast would look, which is a lot more difficult. I've done a juice fast, I've done a 5-day juice fast, and I can't imagine a water fast. But that being said, there's a lot of research right now showing that the benefits, and we're just talking about how Jenni has done that. So I have a real quick question just to break the detox. I always like to ask people what their morning routines are. And I'd like to see, I know we talked before that your morning routine has changed. So how has that?
Yeah, it has. I have a post-fast, water fast morning routine. So I mean, oil pulling therapies have been in my life for many, many, many years now, since, you know, being coconut oil. And so I've always appreciated the benefits of dental health through oil pulling therapy. So that I have done on and off for the last 8 years. And I did it every day during my water fast and have continued since the water fast. So I haven't gone back onto drinking coffee since the water fast. So that's a change. And my morning routine may change again. But for now, my morning routine will include oil pulling therapy. I go outdoors. I live on 6 acres in Mullaney Mountains, so it's really important for me to go out, let the animals out and just get some fresh air and connect in and tune into what's happening outside. The sunrise, first light, watching the sun come up. And then I like to have a juice. I make a green juice. I make a freshly squeezed green juice. And that's now how I feel is the best way to give my body some cleansing and nutrition.
So what do you put in your juice?
It varies. I like to keep them simple. So some cucumber, celery, apple. This morning my green juice had leaf stems from my broccoli from out in the garden, and also some beetroot leaves. I had a combination of broccoli and beetroot leaves, and some cucumber and celery and apple. Sometimes I get a tray of wheatgrass from the local organic shop, and I'll put some wheatgrass shots in there as well. Not shots, but I'll juice it in my juicer, the wheatgrass, the grass itself. So that's a few simple combinations that I like to do with green juice. I don't add carrots. I'm not a mixture. I don't like mixing the orange and the green. I like my green juice green, and then I make a carrot juice orange, and I'll have like carrots, oranges, apple, ginger. Love the ginger and lemon in a carrot juice.
You need to have a retreat up there. Everyone come join you in our juices and our nice healthy environment where you're at.
It is a bit like that. Having spent doing a lot of research also now on raw foods even more, and in the difference between raw foods, and live foods. It's just like eating them straight out the garden and sprouting.
Yeah.
Phenomenal nutrition.
Well, you're fortunate up there as well because you're growing your own vegetables, and we've talked about organic, how important organics are, and I mean, you're living that organic lifestyle, and it's amazing. So
it is amazing. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, it's great that we live in a place too where you can just you're not like you're out in the middle of nowhere. You are still pretty close to civilization. So that's yeah. So I guess I did want to ask I want to ask a few questions about the fasting again, just for those people who are thinking about doing it themselves. What would you say would be the best feeling you had during that cleansing time? Was there anything specific that popped in your mind? What might be that one thing that you would make you do it again?
The feeling of feeling so clean and so light and connected. There's a sense of connection with the self that came when I stopped giving myself food or nutrition. It was kind of like everything turned inward, including my awareness. And that felt really empowering. And then I was able to observe the mind and observe the aspects of myself that were the habits, the addictions, the conditioning around food and my relationship with food. I found it really empowering to have that awareness. And that is what's created for me what I believe is now lasting change in how I see food.
Yeah. Wow.
And enjoy
that's
food.
really...
So, and the heightening of intuition. I mentioned that before, but the clarity, the mental clarity that comes, and the intuition. And also there's just something, I mean, you must feel this when you look after yourself and your family. There's just something very a good feeling about knowing you're doing something good for yourself, taking care of this vehicle, this house, just knowing. So, and that's what got me through the hard times, that this is doing me good.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. So you mentioned before that when you're doing this water fast, how it goes really deep, and maybe bringing up some of those times you had as a teenager, putting those toxins into your body. So would you say, what would have been like the hardest moment that you had? Was there a harder moment, and how you got through that harder moment? I know you touched a little bit on your mindset throughout it, but was there anything specific, a specific hard?
Some of the harder parts of it is also an emotional cleanse. So it's really important to stay positive mentally to get through those challenging times. But to be honest, the hardest part I found was, so what happens is our brain is designed specifically, purposely, as our survival. Brain will take care of our survival needs. These responses, flight, and everything that happens is programmed in our brains. It's very natural. So what was interesting was I found at one point, I've been fit, like not eating meat or chicken or anything like that for many, many years. And at one point and I did a bit of research on this. My brain kind of said, when I went into thinking about eating chicken, I'm like, what? Like, why would I be thinking about that? And I sort of did a bit of research on that brain and the survival instinct. And because the brain, when it goes into survival, will actually start to search whatever has been in this vehicle. It's in its awareness for, like, it'll go back and go back. It'll go back to what I normally have and then go back, just looking for food because it's threatened. It's threatened. There's no food coming in. There's no food coming in. There's no more food coming in. And it's, I have to be honest, I didn't find that part so challenging during the fast. It was when day 8 came along. I was on my last day and I said to myself, my mind said, this is the last day, tomorrow you eat. And I found all I could think of was what I was going to eat. And the very last night, I said to Andrew, my partner, all I can think of is what I'm going to eat. You know, when I'm off the fast and I'm eating again, and it was just a bit overwhelming. It was felt like I've got to get through this night, whereas the first 7 nights were not so hard. There was nothing to get through. I was there. I was in it. I was present. On the last night, once I'd made the decision I'm finishing, oh, the mental activity that kicked in was crazy. And then in honesty, the next day, the morning, when I was ready to take my first, well, I took a juice. It was my first sort of, non-water. It's not quite food, but it's, what I took. And the next day was really hard, just to balance things out and to get my mind into a bit of a better balance around how to transition out of the fast. So yeah, I'm not sure what others might say about that, but I found going into it was fairly much easier, and through it was much easier than actually the last day and coming out. And it was more the mental activity around it. So I have a bit to learn around that, and I'm sure next time I probably will do things a little differently there.
Yeah, I think too, like, anytime your body, you're depleting your body of nutrients, you're going to have those different feelings. And did you find like you had crazy dreams? That's one of the things I've heard a lot of people say, crazy dreams, even people saying heart palpitations, which doesn't always sound that positive. Did you have anything like that?
I didn't have heart palpitations because I did practice deep breathing every day. So I did a little learning from Tyler Tolman. I watched his videos. If anyone watching wants to see some good research and real good experience, I learned from him a few tools and techniques to take on during the water fast, and also the Tanglewood Health Sanctuary in Costa Rica. Dr. To be honest, I can't think of his name right now, but wonderful support there just online. There's a lot of good information. So I practice deep breathing, and I do meditate regularly, and I continued meditation throughout the fast. So and to that, combined with the breathing, I didn't have the heart palpitations. I did have some sore back for a while, lower back, presumably kidneys, working their way.
What was the name of
Tyler Tolman.
Tyler
Tolman. He has a couple of online webinars, and I watched those, and some wonderful information and research. So he gave me, I took some of his tips. One was deep breathing. Another wonderful one is a skin. So I mentioned before that we eliminate through our skin, our colon. Major organs of elimination. One of the major organs is our skin. So often when detoxing deeply like that, it can show up in the skin. So I used a technique called gua sha, which helped the detox process. And you can also find that online. It's actually on our Coconut Magic website, and I learned it from Tyler Tolman, and it's a process, an ancient process with using vodka and bicarb of soda to scrub the skin, and it just opens up all those pores. And then I didn't have any sort of horrible skin things happen, thankfully, during the cleanse or detox in the fast.
You said vodka and bicarb soda.
vodka and bicarb soda with a good what do you call it? Those gloves that I've got a bamboo glove and give it a good scrub. It's very easy. It only takes a few minutes, and it's alkalizing and deeply cleansing to open up the pores and let that process happen. Some people will do enemas and things like that during their water fast. I didn't feel that need for that. I felt to be honest, my energy was already quite low. I didn't want to put my body through any more during my water fast. And plus, I don't have many years of meat eating or anything like that, you know, that can really be taxing in the colon area. So I just didn't feel that was necessary for myself. But others may be different.
Like you said, your intuition was on par. So that's what your body told you. You didn't need to. That's great. Well, I mean, you look amazing. You look amazing. So, like, you know, anyone who's watching would be like, "Wow, water fasting looks pretty good."
Water fasting and then raw foods.
And raw foods, exactly. Probably sleep is something I'm lacking.
Mum.
That'll come. So, would you do it again? What do you think you do?
Absolutely. I'm already planning. Totally. This is the next book I'm about to read. See that one?
So sorry, the miracle of fasting. Yeah, who's the author?
Oh, the Miracle of Fasting. So this is Pamela and Paul Bragg. So
that's great.
I'll be reading that soon. But I definitely will fast again, and I plan to do another 8 days. I want to do them in increments. So I plan to fast three times a year. My next fast will be in January. So it felt so good. And it's really upped my ante on my health daily lifestyle that I just want to keep this going. It also motivates me to stay very, very clean in between the fasts because I don't want to be, I want to be ready for it.
Well, you would feel it. I imagine if you were to take something processed now or, anything that even wasn't raw, you would probably, you would feel it. I'm sure. Like I know even just eating a clean diet without fasting, if I were to suddenly eat something really sugary and processed, I get a headache, which, can be a bummer when you're really just want to just lighten up and have a piece of cake or a brownie. But but at the same time, it's a way of saying, hey, look, I don't know what that is anymore. And just fuel your body to be that best version of yourself, really. So.
Yeah, it is really, really so true. Yeah, that is so true. We become more sensitive. More sensitive. Yeah.
Well, I think that's great. I've really enjoyed chatting with you, and I always love chatting with you, but I appreciate you sharing this with our audiences. And,
Thank you. I appreciate you having me today, and I appreciate your interest and sharing and your lovely interview style.
Times. I wanted to ask one more question because I like asking people this question, and it's just a, quick one sentence. How do you define healthy?
Oh, how do I define healthy? One sentence.
One sentence. Tricky when you
All right.
It down.
I would define healthy as a clean body, a pure mind, and a joyful spirit, integrating and working harmoniously together.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. Good. That was one sentence, a few commas, but that was a sentence. I like it, Jenni.
I think you get the message. It's holistic.
Well, thank you again. Everyone who's watching still, you can find Jenni at coconutmagic.com, and she's on Instagram, Facebook is the same. She has amazing coconut products. I'm not trying to plug her. I actually really do use her products. She has the best MCT oil I've ever had that I can actually find. I need to order more. She actually sells them in a liter now, which is perfect for getting your clean mind and fueling you through the day. My husband and I use that, and we need it with 2 kids under 3 and a business. So yeah, definitely Jenni and Coconut Magic. And hopefully we'll have you on here again. This is really fun. So many things I could talk to you about and benefit everyone.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you all so much. And I do want to just mention our coconut oil as well. I did use our coconut oil on my skin. I still do, of course, but during the fast, of course, I wasn't ingesting it. But it's ideal after doing a good scrub with the gua sha to just coat in coconut oil. Skin just drinks it up, and it just, that in itself is cleansing and healing. Amazing.
And you have the best coconut oil. I mean, honestly, she's taught me a lot about coconut oil. A lot of people may not know that, you know, in the manufacturing process with coconut oil, it is changed. It's not just pure. And because hers is 100% certified organic, and she knows exactly where it's coming from and how it's made, it's incredible. Like, if every product was made, your dog.
Sasha, it's my German Shepherd. Something's disturbing her outside.
All right. Well, thank you, Jenni.
Thank you so much.